Hey guys, what's up? It's Danielle. So welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk about my experience with being on ketamine. And this is something that I've only been doing for a little under 2 weeks now, so things are still fairly new. However, I wanted to share this kind of journey with you guys because I know some of you have been with me since I talked ad nauseum about Wellbutrin back in the day. And not that, there's anything wrong with any other meds, but I finally feel like I found something that is truly working for me. So I will probably talk more about that later on in the video, but for now, I'm going to stick to two things. Number one, a couple of disclaimers. And those are that I am not a medical professional. So I'm purely speaking about my own experience, and I cannot, in good faith or in any other way, give you any sort of medical advice because, again, I am not a doctor of any kind. The second thing is, please be respectful of what people choose to utilize to help them with various things. And, medication has always been a personal choice of mine. And I haven't always had people in my personal life that have been supportive of that. And to that, I have to say, just please be respectful of people who choose to go down the medication route. It might not be what you want for them, and it might not be what you personally would choose, but everybody is allowed to pick what they think will help them the best. So now that I got that out of the way, I'm just gonna go into this like quick and dirty, and then we'll get into more details after that. So long story short, I have had extremely severe depression for well over 10 years. And the things that I noticed immediately are that I can think more clearly, and things don't seem to be as pressing as they used to, if that makes sense. I feel like I can focus a little bit more on what's in front of me, what I need to get done. And I can, kind of go from there, figure things out. And then my anxiety has gone down a bit. I wouldn't say it's completely gone because I don't think it ever will be, but it's gone down enough to the point where it's made new situations that I've encountered. My cats are doing something. It's made new situations that I've encountered recently more tolerable for me. I'm very much, an anxious person, and I don't like to talk to people. I'm very much an introvert. And, I did start a new job about a month ago, so it's not really the time to be, an introvert. So just kind of coming out of my shell a little bit and talking with people, seeing where they're coming from, I feel like made that process a little bit easier. And the biggest thing that I can say about being on ketamine just for this small period of time already is it feels like a weight has been lifted. It's really hard to describe unless you've experienced depression yourself, but it honestly feels like things are easier because I'm on the ketamine, and it truly feels like a huge weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. I don't have the same feeling of dread that I used to. It would be like a perfectly beautiful day and I would have nothing going wrong in my life. And I would just be like, I don't want to go to work. I would dread going to work. And now, I would still rather stay at home because I'm a homebody, but it's not something that I'm completely dreading or other things that I have to get done, I'm not completely dreading them like I used to. And I think just in general, it's made me more willing to get things done that I like to put off, because I do also have ADHD, and I'm definitely going to go for the dopamine first. So I just wanted to start off by saying that, because I know a lot of people have questions about ketamine, and I certainly had questions about it. Now, I'm going to get a little bit more into like how I'm taking it. I'm not doing IV infusions. I am actually using an online like service, I guess you could call it. And I'll have it linked below. I don't really want to talk a whole lot about it in the video, just because I don't want that to be like the main focus. But I also don't want it to like sway your opinion just one way, because there's other, services that provide the same thing. But this is just purely my experience, like I said at the beginning. So what I like is that it's all online. Yes, it's kind of pricey. It's like $130 a month. So for me, I'm willing to spend that money because I have been in the trenches for so long with my depression, and they give me what they call troches. Now, the ones that I have come in 60 milligrams, so you can cut it into fourths, and then it's 15 milligrams a piece. I started off at 15 milligrams, and I got moved up to 45, which I've been on for a couple of days. Are they going to move me up? They're going to move me down. I think it really depends on the feedback that I give them. I do like that they send 2 texts a day. So the first one is kind of like telling me like, hey, just a heads up, like tomorrow, take this many milligrams and have a good day. The second one I get a couple hours later, and it's kind of like a daily check-in. So they ask you if you're feeling more or less anxious, how you've been sleeping, and, are you having any side effects? Just kind of like the, I guess, basic stuff that a doctor would ask you when you're on a new medication. And it's kind of nice because you can sort of reflect over just the last day and how, if at all, it has affected you. So I really like that aspect. Now, it was prescribed to me through a nurse practitioner, and it was a very quick process. And, basically it's like any other, at least in my opinion, any other doctor appointment where they go through your medical history and your current medications. They check to see if you're on any sort of controlled substances at the moment. And then, they either prescribe it to you or they don't. So it took about a week to get to me, but this has been a very long time coming for me. So to give you a little bit of background, I think I mentioned this before, depressed. Like I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder over 10 years ago, and things have really been a struggle. I'm not going to lie. Like, I've struggled with depression longer than that, but it was always kind of treated as a puzzle by me, one that I desperately wanted to figure out. And sort of where I landed was I ended up being diagnosed with ADHD in addition to depression. And then I found out about a year ago, 2 years ago, around there, that I'm also on the spectrum. The reason why I bring this up is because these are all things to consider, because, just because you behave in a certain way or you do things a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that it's because of one thing. It can be from multiple things. So I always try to kind of keep that in mind. Another thing is, other medications that you're on, seeing and knowing how your body reacts to them. I am on atomoxetine, which is the generic form of Strattera, which is it's like a what am I trying to say? I was at work, so I'm filming this at 1 a.m. So excuse me if my brain is a little foggy right now, but it's basically a safer, we'll call it, version of an ADHD medication. And I mean, I've been on it for a couple of years. And then I've also been on escitalopram, which is the generic form of Lexapro, for a couple of years as well. And both of those things I pursued through a psychiatrist. So I'm just trying to give you guys enough information so you can kind of see where I'm coming from. But I really have been wanting to try ketamine because my brother is a nurse and he likes to keep, up to date with all the different types of medical, journals and stuff like that. So he was the one that originally told me that ketamine was showing a lot of promise in people with depression. So I was so extremely burnt out the last 2 years that it wasn't really something that I wanted to pursue at that point in time. And then I really felt like, this year I was like, I'm going to do it. It's definitely time. And I'm extremely happy that I did. I can't say enough good things. And one other thing that I want to mention is that ketamine, since it's a controlled substance, it can actually become like habit forming. So it can be highly addictive, and that's something to keep in mind. So I don't generally have a problem with that. I mean, I never have. But again, it's something to keep in mind if you have, addictive tendencies, or if you've ever had an addiction in the past to something. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Another thing is that it might not be for everybody. And I say that the way I say with any other medication. Again, I'm not a doctor, but it might not be for you, and that's okay. I think for a lot of people over the years that I've talked to since making these types of videos, a lot of them are at their wits' end, which is extremely understandable. And I definitely feel for you guys. I think that's why I'm so willing to kind of like jump to whatever I can get my hands on. I mean, sounds bad, but that's kind of what I'm doing because I have suffered for so long, and it's never fun. So I am going to keep this on the shorter side. I will probably do updates on this for you guys just because I know some of you are probably wondering, and generally, wow. Okay, that's great. Genuinely, I want to share my experience, but thus far, I can honestly say it has been amazing. Now, I do want to throw out another disclaimer. I have had things happening recently that are definitely helping me to feel better about everything in general. I've been working out more. I've been eating better, not consistently, but I have been. I've been addressing some nutritional deficiencies that I've had for a very long time, and I'm really feeling the effects of taking care of that now as far as my energy. Not only that, but I am in a relationship, and like I said, I got a job within the last month. So you could say, yeah, well, given all of that, of course you're happy. Honestly, with depression, that's not really how it works. So yes, I was happy about all of that, but it's completely different when you literally wake up every morning and you're genuinely excited to be awake. Because before I was like, I just want to sleep. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to talk to people. And now I'm like kind of doing a 180, but okay, probably half of that. But I mean, it's still vastly different from where I was at. So just kind of, you know, take what I said with a grain of salt. But it has definitely been a great experience for me thus far. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I will definitely keep you updated on how this is going. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.